So, I make a lot of collages, and I thought I would show them to you. And then maybe, in the fullness of time, I will also make some collages and or slash show you the books that I take my materials from. Some of my stuff is kind of weird, but hopefully people will like that. Yeah, so I frame stuff in just like cardboard and masking tape. Is it the most elegant solution? No, it is not, but however, it works. So this was from, there's like a National Geographic about twins, and then this is from like an old Mayo Clinic book. So I grabbed some lines from that. The inability of an eye to obtain the normal convergence required for a fixation of a near object, or the deviation of one eye from parallelism with its fellow. So they're just like cutting up the twins and having some weird, messed up parallels. So put that down there. This one, just from the yoga pregnancy book, but with the two of them just collaged together onto the same image. And then I don't know what this is. I think this is from like an old anthropology textbook that was like showing family trees. So these are like, like male and woman signs or something. It's like some elaborate family tree thing. But this one does not have deep symbolic meaning. It's just goofy. Old goof. Animal Kingdom. This is like some old book on Egypt. And then this is like a thing about geese or wild birds, types of bills, I guess. But I just made them a little more royal. Yeah. This is just a little German goof. I have like an old German children's book, and I think I'd like cut out the other side, and I was like, look at these spooky little outlines. So I put it all together. So the ground squirrel ate some pine seeds and buried others to eat later. So yeah, we got this little buddy, which was from actually a book of like, there's like lots of sketches of like squirrels and other animals, and then with like little puns. Like I think this was like, I'm nuts for you or something. But now the squirrel's nuts for pine seeds and other buried items. Yeah, didn't even frame this one. This is just like a little summer collage. It's from a children's book. I think he was holding, or like reaching up to something. So I just put it together with this little flower. Ooh, spooky. Yeah, I just use like normal glue for all of these, so sometimes they kind of come apart. And this is from that Yoga from Pregnancy book again. This pose stretches leg muscles and increases mobility of hip joints. But then this is from a whole book on dance. And then this was from like a book that gives you the translations for the names of a bunch of objects from Hebrew to English that I picked up somewhere. Huh? There's a fly in my room. It's been driving me crazy. Put this over here. We got this bird lady. It's funny, so this is the skeleton of a bird, obviously. It had like a rib cage, and I kept on trying to make the rib cage work with this like woman's skirt, and then it just like wasn't working, and I finally just cut, can't tell if you can see, like I cut all of the ribs out and just have these two like almost like suspender stripes that I matched with this. And now I think it kind of works. I don't know. And this is actually just the leftovers from detaching it. This is the leftovers from that. So as you can see, that was her skirt, and that was her hand at one point. I think this is just a strip. So sometimes when I have just like leftover stuff lying around, I'll just cut it together into one more little item. Many creatures use disguises or play clever tricks. So this is from a book that's like all about, the text is from a book that's all about like animals that fake you out. And then these are from this same book that has like just like fashion images of ladies from the 19th century. This is from a book of tool stock images. So it's a lot of like teapots and wrenches. I don't know where this kind of like spoopy pigeon is from, but I like pigeons. So there they are, disguised. Now these are always, all of these actually are, because I sometimes use stuff like this as stationery. So if I don't like love something, sometimes I'll also just like send it. Oh, I don't really like this one, so we're gonna skip it. I don't know why I didn't frame this one, but you can see. Oh, there was some text here. This is from that the same book as the squirrel is from, with like the little jokes and stuff. And I think whatever the joke was, it was here. And I just don't like it, so I got rid of it. These two ladies peeping out. This one's not like a clever pun or something. I think a lot of times I use this bird for something, and sometimes I just use the silhouettes for goofs, like this one as well. Some of them are missing something else too. This was, I think I cut the woman out from the other side of the page and then was like, oh, interesting. She fits in so well here. I don't think this is from that dance book. I don't know where this is from. I have a lot of books of just like old photographs and stuff. The old stapler. So this is from like a little workout book with like all those little workout images that fortunately I will never need to use. So I can just cut it up. And we got this crow buddy, or I guess he's a medium ground finch. And he was eating a large tribulus seed, whatever that is, but not anymore. Spooky. This is from that same article about Egypt that I had the crowns for the birds on. And then this is like I have a lot of old anatomy textbooks and stuff. I don't know what this is. I think this is just like an old, one of those old coupons from probably like an old science fiction magazine or something. Or no, it looks like this is from like an old tool, like one of those old tool magazines or like tool catalogs, but it's kind of falling apart, so I probably just cut it up. Took her a long time to get used to this luxury. Somewhere I have another one that matches this. It's like a platypus. It's lounging in another article of furniture like this. But I made this one a long time ago. I made this like a while back, and I had like a whole book of furniture like this that I wish I still had, but I left it somewhere when I moved, and I thought I was like going to go back, and then I went back, and my friend was like, oh, threw it out. Like, awesome. Cool and also great. You can see the cuts, which is not ideal, but I don't know what this spooky bunker is. Like, it is spooky all by itself. You don't even have to add the child. But that child is from that same book that the umbrella came from, like learning how to speak Hebrew, which is interesting. Still do not know how to speak Hebrew, unfortunately. See something. So this I like found this book of like tide pooling stuff, and then this is from like an old, not an old, but like a book full of period costume reference. And so, but this tide pooling book is so like cool and spooky because it doesn't have like normal questions. It has, all the questions are framed like this, like, I see something soft and brown waving between the two shells. What is it? And then it explains kind of an answer. So I have another one that I really like that's like someone asking if mussels have friends. No, this is where the silhouette of the bird went. Well, this is actually just a train of someone's dress, but I cut off like some small piece of it to make it fit her, because I liked how it like matched the wing shapes that she had. Do a lot of stuff with birds because they're great. This lobster was from that like tide pooling book as well. Tilt this so you can see it better. And this was just like a magazine with like, ooh, you'll never guess the latest fashions. Overalls. And cactus print. Is that cactus? Yes, it definitely is. Wow. Oh, you know what? This wasn't the Mayo Clinic. The thing with the eyes from before was not the Mayo Clinic, because it was cracking me up. There were like all these diagnoses in there for things like frigidity. So it was like real old. Yeah, so it's frigidity in women is much more common than its counterpart, impotence in men. More than 50% of married women are so affected, either partially or completely. Often frigidity may persist for a certain period after marriage, and then, under favorable conditions, normal response will develop. It's like this great, like, don't want sex too much, but like, do want it enough, ma'am. Just made this one the other day. It's from like a German book of bugs, but it has like all these like bugs emerging from flowers and stuff. And then this was from like a science fiction book. It was like right at the back, and it was just like this picture of this wrench, and it said revolt underneath. And I think I kept it. Did I put it? Oh, I was gonna put it in here and just have it say revolt on the inside. And then these are just images of lungs, but I like the idea of like, I don't know, air-powered wrenches to cut out the weeds. Maybe I just like the yellows. The yellows are also nice. Whoa, I found in like one of those little free libraries, like really ratty, like the cover was all messed up, copy of The Wizard of Oz. So I was cutting it up into all kinds of little items. So this is from a different book. It's like another old children's book. But I shall get my brains, cried Dorothy. This is when she's crying, when the wizard is like, you gotta kill a witch if you want to go home. And she's like, really? That seems like a high price to pay. Now I got really into the idea of like exoskeletons. I wanted a bug with like an actual exoskeleton. So I cut off all these. This is 2 bugs worth of legs, and then the head is on the back of the complete transcripts of the Nixon tapes, the most extraordinary and revealing White House document ever made public. The book is like super thick, and like very, they don't even have, it doesn't even say like Nixon, it'll say like N and then say what he said. It is a difficult read. That was not just because like he says some difficult things, but also just graphic design wise. Yeah, this is when I was feeling like awesome about romance. So this is from like a Boy Scout manual on how to like cure someone. You can actually see there's someone's like else's hand there, so I did like a not particularly elegant fix, and then this is a spine from like a German anatomy textbook, and then some flowers. So don't worry, I'm not like morbidly opposed to the notion of romance. Just having a weird day. Dorothy felt as if she were growing as gray as her surroundings. This is actually a splice. I think she's like, Dorothy felt as though like Toto were the only thing that were keeping her from growing as gray as her other surroundings. But took this from like a black and white thing of fashions, and then that's Dorothy's face from the color part of the book. But my aunt commented on this and was like, wow, I'm going gray, and like, I don't think that's funny. And I was like, okay, well, that's not really what I meant. What I meant was that like quarantine is miserable. Please help. Or not quarantine, pandemic. I'm not really like quarantined. Laura tried mindfulness to get in touch with her inner child, which is apparently an aunt. A lot of stuff from this one German medical textbook. This was like this weird, it was like nurses like hoisting baby, or like nurses, nuns hoisting babies and then like dropping them down again and then hoisting them up again. It was like a weird series of diagrams. Well, these are 2 ladybugs. They were once ticks. A bunch of fish stuff. Just a little ragfish on the other side. I like this one. Actually better than this one. There's another little fish buddy. But one day I went up in the balloon and the ropes got twisted so that I couldn't come down. A little hiccup there. Yeah, I remember cutting this out. There were like some more ropes, but I got it to fit around. And these are 2 extra bits of wire that were going up to the original balloon, just to make it seem a little more complete. And then you can tell that I just like, I don't know where I cut in, like right there to get out this part. But I like having an outline. Don't know if I finish this one. Some real Carol Baskin vibes in this one. Hereafter you'll be a great man, for I've given you a lot of brand new brains. So this is also from The Wizard of Oz. This is like one of the witches or something being like, no, I'm reading a proclamation. Except then she got tiger. This is from a book called like Lion versus Tiger. Who would win? So it's a lot of like pictures of lions fighting tigers. But I like it because her hand like supports him. It's gone deep. To mimic means to pretend to be like something else. So this is from that fake out book again with like all the examples of the animals that pretend to be other things. And then this fish is from the same book as all the other fish are from. And then she's just I have a lot of pictures of, listen to that vehicle outside making noise so we know it's alive. Still need to do the Lizard of Oz. I haven't done that yet. This is when she's like refreshing the Tin Woodman. She says, "Did you groan? Where are your joints?" But different. I think she's like repairing the balloon. She's sewing the balloon, but I cut that out. You can still see the thread there though. Anyway, different kind of Dorothy, I guess. Well, this is from it's similar to the Fake Out book, but it's a book about like night creatures. So this is like a nocturnal crayfish. And then Dorothy again. But my darling child, she cried, folding the little girl in her arms and covering her face with kisses. You can see where the water line is in the actual book. Do one more of these fish ones. He holds his breath. I like this. I kind of regret, I wish I'd had this tucked into the slit over here. And I don't know that I like cut this out so that this could be in there, but I think it would have worked better if it had just been the collar. I don't know. I still don't know what I would have done with these. He may look complicated, but he is in fact very simple. This speech bubble is actually the lizard's tail. And then these were the legs and these were the arms, but I crossed them, like bent the head, and then this is like another one of those old like period costume things. You can see where the arm was still, but I think I mostly covered it up. I like this one. I had like an old map of, I think it was like somewhere in Italy. I like this. This is the one that no one believes is a collage. This is a brain that I cut out from elsewhere. I was thinking about how like smart chickens actually are. Like there are all these studies that have been done that are like, chickens, not as dumb as you think. They roost. They have social lives. The pecking order is real. So I got this brain and I like cut out, you can see part of the beak and the rest of it, but it came together really well. You can kind of see the cuts. You can also see where the like diagram pointing to the brain came through. Kind of like that. I like having like little tiny mistakes. That's why I keep pointing them out. Oh, this is from the title book again. These are actually both from the title book. They just have two different styles of art. And then this is like a medieval lady. But Explore the tide lines where the waves leave tangles of seaweed and shells along the beach. You will find the shells and egg cases of many animals that lead secret lives under the sand. So, I guess she's leading a secret life. This one, which is fine. It's like not that interesting. My advanced framing sometimes gets a little screwy. Swedes, they're godless. This is also from the pregnancy yoga book. I like that they make a cross piled on top of each other. And this is where I got the brain from the chicken from. Put a little, this baby was in the womb. But, I guess this is an idea, maybe? The other thing that's hard about these is like, who would I give them to as a gift? Like, I heard you had babies on the brain. I heard that your womb was your brain. So I thought of you when I made this. This is from that twins book again. Loretta and Lorraine. Both of whom were stillborn. I just remember finding this sentence again. I have like a little bag of sentences and being like, heck yes, somewhere, somehow, this will be useful. This is actually the top of their heads. I don't know why I did this with all these twin ones. Of just like the disjointedness. Both playing with just using lines as well. My aunt did not think this was funny either. But I did. Tape this one over. I don't know why I was like, this one's precious. This one must be kept safe. But pregnancy yoga, ancient statuary. I don't really have any rules for this piling. Alright, this is the last one for tonight. This is a woman using a narwhal as a shrug. It probably helps the narwhals attract mates. Fun fact about narwhals is that their tusks actually bend a fair amount. And the reason they know that is because researchers who went up were talking to like various I do not remember how they know that. I like went to a whole Smithsonian exhibit about it and immediately forgot. But somehow they know that their tusks are bendy. Look it up if you're curious, I guess. Yeah, so let me know what you think. Happy to flip through the books that I use. Might do some collaging at my desk for people to watch and just talk while I do it. I don't know.